Please, if you join us on our stream, we're grateful that you've joined us. Let me just introduce our guest for the morning. And I have representing the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, a former deputy boss for the NIB, National Investment Bank. Alfred Thompson is a regular on the show. He's here. He's a man of peace this morning. He told me before we came here, good morning to you, man of peace.
I'm just trying to initiate a fight between us.
There's no fight.
We're from the man of peace. I've always been peaceful, and Cookie knows that.
Please
I even had a hug today because of my
don't
peaceful
draw
nature.
Cookie into this conversation. We beg you.
Because I'm learning from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the peaceful man,
Okay.
the simple man, the sincere man.
Extended.
So it should tell you that Alfred is a man of peace. Anyway, good morning.
Good
I hope
morning.
everything is good.
Yes.
The week has been good?
Yes.
Great.
In the middle is lawyer Kwame Jantua.
Always in the middle.
He's an energy consultant, legal practitioner with the CPP as well. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Roro. How are you?
I'm well. And then also, having left us for a number of weeks, I have to ask him what he's been up to. Lawyer Abraham Amaliba. He's the director for the Reconciliation Directorate of the NDC. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Lawyer Amaliba.
Thank you.
Where have you been?
I've been around within the jurisdiction, just that I'm doing some work up north in respect of the reconciliation of our constituencies. You know, after the primaries, there will be some bickering. So I was up north trying to see how I can bring about reconciliation.
Okay.
So that together we can move forward for the victory in 2024. So it has been successful. We were in Bimbila, and I want to greet the people of Bimbila. We're in Wolinsi, we're in Yendi, we're in Saanargu, and all those places. So I think that the work is fulfilling.
All right. We're grateful that you're here. At least you come in also to enrich our conversation. So today we have two issues to talk about, and it's mainly focusing on the election 2024. The Electoral Commission says because they want to increase the number of polling stations, they also are now going to propose closing time for voting day, December 7, to be 3 p.m. And among all that, we also know that during the week, he's still on tour, the former presidential candidate of the NDC, has been asking for a level playing field, transparency in the 2024 general elections from the Electoral Commission as well as other stakeholders. And then the NDC also, they've joined the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. Since 2021, they haven't been there. And there was some level of camaraderie. We saw the welcome address also, the responses from the party chair. Let me say good morning to a number of you as well. Money. People keep wondering why I keep mentioning your name all the time. I hope that you're recovering. Sherry Giovanni, good morning to you. Inshraba, Keo Fori, Osajefo, Idriana Neba, Oseadia, your Eclipse. Good morning to you. And then we encourage you to share the streams as well. Evans Ibn Samba, Shaddai Adote, Shaibu Muhammad, and Evans Blaze, Sol Evans, Mavis Suka joining us, Hamza Dimaestro, thank you for giving us all the latest, Amama Gold, Imelda Nasser, and we have to go to the Electoral Commissioner. That is the chair for the EEC, Jim Mensah, giving us this at a press conference or an interaction.
We propose to close the polls at 3 p.m. Our experience in 2020 revealed that by 1 p.m., 70% of our polling stations were empty of voters, as most voters had cast their votes. This made it possible because the threshold for most polling centers, as I mentioned, was reduced to 500 voters per polling station. In the past, we had a high threshold, some thousand and more, and of course, our kits did not function as they should, and so you would find that we had several people in the queue for long hours. And you know, we believe that with the system we have put in place, reducing the threshold, increasing the number of polling stations, and of course with the robust kits that we intend to deploy, we will be able to move at a faster pace. If you compare the turnout in 2016 to that of 2020, in spite of the hassle-free process in 2020 and the lack of long queues and lines and so on, we had a voter turnout of 79% plus compared to 67% in 2020. And so we believe that if we should implement this process and this policy to the fullest, we'll have a smooth process. And by 3 p.m., of course, if people are in the line at 3 p.m. and it has to go on till later, they would still be registered. It is not to say that the polls come to an end at 3 p.m.
The history of our electoral politics show that our electoral processes from 1992 has been undergoing a lot of reforms. But there's one area that has never been reformed. There's one area that has never been touched in our quest to fine-tune our electoral process. That area has always been the electoral commission, it's always been Ghanaians. And it's the area of the start or commencement of polls. Every election since 1992, you will have instances of late start of polls. Every election, you have instances of late start of polls. And so if we will keep on starting polls late in some constituencies or some voting centers, then telling us that you want to bring the close of polls 3 p.m., reducing it by 2 hours, will be problematic because we don't start our polls early.
Right.
If the Electoral Commission will be able to put in place mechanisms to ensure that at all voting centers, materials and everything is there to enable us to commence voting on time, then we can take a look at the proposal that has been made. Other than that, then I think that we haven't gotten there yet.
And there have been some concerns being raised across board, but there should be some merit from the Electoral Commission. But I know that this is not the first time that this has been proposed. What do you make of this?
Good morning once again, Roland, and good morning to my co-panelists. And I wish you well. I haven't been here for a long time, so I'm back on board. I would say that I agree totally with.
Madam Jemensa?
Yeah, I agree with her. Because when you are at the polling station, most of the time, you realize that between 1 to 5 o'clock, it's very, very slow. Very, very slow.
The momentum.
In fact, most of the time, you don't get people coming till it's around 4:30. And you see people rushing last minute to come and vote. So within that time, I believe that when they bring it to even 3 o'clock, you will get people rushing between 2 to 3 o'clock to come and vote. And it's high time we let people know that, listen, and one, the other problem we should look at is the lighting in the evening when you are counting. During the day, from 3 to 5, I mean, you can't take more than 1 hour to count 500 ballot papers. And every polling station is going to be 500. So you can't take more than 1 hour to count those 500 ballots. At the most, 2 hours. So by 5 o'clock, you still have sunlight there. You don't need to go and bring torches and go and put it in a classroom or go and put it somewhere that people will come and say that, oh, and they're going to do something here or they've done something to the ballot papers and everything. I think it's every time after every election, we improve upon what we are doing. And it's a step in the right direction. I believe we should support them fully in this cause, and it will help all of us.
No, let me come to Amaliba before.
I think that ever since Jim Mensah took over the reins of the Electoral Commission, she's developed a penchant for throwing up ideas that seek to disenfranchise people. We are still dealing with the Ghana card only brouhaha, and now you are introducing this one again. I think Jim Mensah doesn't know the terrain of this country. That's one. Two, I'm not sure she has visited all her district offices. I'm not sure she has done that to know the rough terrain that we have in this country.
Why do you say that?
Look, if she wants us to even close at 1, we can do it. She should further reduce the numbers at the police station to 300. That's not the issue. The issue in this country is that voting days are not declared as holidays. I've kept quiet so that it will sink into her ears. Voting days are not like other countries where it is declared as a public holiday. People will have to go to work for some time, and be able to coax their employers that, can I go and exercise my franchise?
Interesting.
You get it? On a voting day, if some people don't go to work, they'll be fired. They'll be fired, Jim Mensah. So what people do on the voting day is to go early, work assiduously up to some time, say 3 o'clock, and then ask for permission from the employers. Because when you now do that, your employer will be amenable to ask you to go and vote. So by closing at 3, Jim Mensah is seeking to disenfranchise these people who are bound to go to work and come. In fact, even in the farming areas, people will have to go to farms because some are there. If they don't go to the farm, they will not get food to eat. So they'll go to the farm and then start returning from noon, and then they can go and exercise their franchise. That's why I'm saying that the Mensah seems not to know the terrain of this country and doesn't understand the culture. So the 5 o'clock was not given because people wanted to close at 5. In any case, she talks about collation so that we can collate early, isn't it? And that will bring about transparency. Who says that collation brings about transparency? Who says that? We were in this country when the last elections, Techima South, there was no collation. Results were declared. Supervised by the EC. Superintended by them. Was that fair? Or was that what was the transparency? So, please, an election management body should conduct itself in such a way as to rope in as many people as possible who are eligible to vote and want to vote. But you don't do things that will cut off. So, would you imagine on the voting the next day, you ask somebody, oh, I went to work before I came, they had closed. And yet this person wants to vote. So I think that he should understand, here in Accra, Ghana, Accra here. Sometimes you as a journalist, just Amasamai, or even Pram Pram, or even one Dodua, you hear voting has started late. Around 12, that people are in queue, they've not started. How about areas they call overseas areas in this country? You see where I say he doesn't know the terrain of this country?
Around the Afram place where the voting materials always get there
late. So when you add that one to what I have said about people who have to go to work and come and vote, I think it's a wrong idea. It's a bad idea for her to even want that.
But is it not about us being conscious and making sure that we do the right things? We know that this is voting day, and indeed, all employers or whoever is undertaking any form of activity that day will have it in their calendar that it's voting day. So you schedule it. Even if you're from, and it's good that you just traveled into the hinterlands because of your work as leading the reconciliation directorate of the NDC. So we all know the terrain. But if it's part of your calendar, the argument will be that you should schedule it appropriately.
You are asking that we leave it to the whims and caprices of employers. And an employer can choose to go by what you are saying or choose to refuse that. Look, you have work to do. You dare not leave. If the EC can, as it were, champion that we should have voting days as public holidays, this your argument will work. Anything outside that, it won't work. Well, a chunk of our people will be working that day. So let the EC know about this and let her be aware.
All right. What do you make of this as well? Because it's not the first time. I think the last election, this was proposed, but of course rebuffed by the political parties.
Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Maybe what the EC should do should probably send a CI to Parliament and indicate that elections should be held first Saturday of the month of December instead of 7th, because 7th can fall on a weekday. But if it's first Saturday, then at least not a lot of people work on a Saturday. And employers will be prepared to give leverage for voting. Maybe that is what we should be looking at. Instead of saying that you drastically would change from 5 p.m. to 3 p.m. Even if you wanted to try it, move it an hour ahead, say 4 p.m., to give people the time. So you decide to do it at 3 p.m. By 2 p.m., there's a rush of people at various polling stations that can extend it into 5 p.m. What about that? What about that? If people know 3 p.m., and we know the Ghanaian style, we wait for last minute. And then by 1:30, 2 o'clock, there's a rush of plenty people at the various polling stations. And you say we're closed at 3. And there's backlog of people at the polling stations. And it closes at 5. Have you won or have you not won? You've defeated your purpose.
No, come again
So-
on that point. I don't get it.
So, you said 3 p.m. We know the Ghanaian style where we come late.
Yeah.
So by 2:30, there's a huge backlog of people. You're closing at 3 p.m. But those huge backlog of people who are there,
They will vote,
well, yeah, they'll vote. But that voting could take it up to 5 p.m.
yeah.
What about
Assuming. You're assuming.
Please
It's an
go on.
assumption.
It happens.
You don't think it's
It's an
possible?
assumption.
It happens all the time.
It's an
Okay,
assumption.
okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, look, this is not a party issue. This is a national issue that we have to discuss and make sure that we do it in such a way that everybody is clear. Look, the Ghana card issue, where the electoral commissioner wants to use that as a, what do you call it? How many people have Ghana card? So I come to the polling station. You're closing at 3. I've gotten there at 10 to 3. My guy don't have Ghana card. There's argument and it pushes it. Who caused harm? She should be very careful she doesn't cause mayhem. So, what is the issue? The issue is the counting at night? Is that the issue? Make it possible for counting to happen at any given time that elections end. Make it possible. That is what she should be concentrating on. And not trying to disenfranchise voters. Because definitely, closing at 3 p.m., yes, you say you have experience of us finishing early. Is it everywhere? Is it every polling station? I don't think so. So as much as possible, make it comfortable for people to vote. And try your possible best to give NCCE a lot of money to start training and educating people that don't wait last minute to go and vote. As much as possible, get there early. Luckily, this election in 2024 falls on a Saturday. 7th December falls on a Saturday. So, perhaps you will not see it. But when it falls on a weekday, you want me, who is employing you, to leave your work to go and vote? Is that what you're telling me? Then, as Amaliba said, let's declare 7th December
A public holiday.
public holiday. Let's declare vote a public holiday.
Okay.
The way we took 1st July out, it's not a holiday. Let's substitute it with 7th December as a public holiday for people to vote.
At the end of the day, if you look at the considerations that have been made and input by leaders in academia, Professor Jampo, etc., the argument is for the Electoral Commission led by Madam Jean Mensah to widely consult stakeholders. And the stakeholders are not only political parties, but also individuals with interest in the political space, the media, relevant institutions who have participated within the political, civil society, and then ordinary Ghanaians.
It's a national discussion.
She's announcing.
For national discussion.
Which one?
Which one?
What we are doing now isn't a discussion. You think they are not taking points from it? No, what we are doing now, you
She's
think they are
playing
not taking
Cocofu
points from it?
football.
Oh, please.
She wants to put the thing inside, and if it happens,
Roland, don't be like a political party.
What do you mean by that?
When they know they are losing elections, they look for every excuse.
What do you mean by that?
Why they should not do anything?
she wanted to
positive.
use Ghana card. She went to parliament.
Why
It was
they
rebuffed.
should
But
not use anything positive to make sure that we bring transformation. We grow. We don't grow down. We grow up. And every exercise you do, you learn from it and improve upon it. That is what we expect. That is what we expect everyone to do.
The majority
And
leaders
I don't see where, when you tell someone that's 5 o'clock and the person will go to the farm and come. People go to the farm and come at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
People go into a line and stay there like that long line
Where?
Jan Try is
Where?
talking about. Most some polling stations.
Where?
Some police stations.
Where?
Happens. We have how many how many thousands of police stations? Which one do you want me to mention? I said it happens because I go around, I move around. I'm an observer when it happens. And I go and I see what happens there. 4 o'clock, 4:30, you see people rushing. And what he's saying at 2 o'clock, people will rush and it will stay till what time? They said, I am reducing it to 500 per police station. She tried it in 2020. It worked very well for us. And now she's saying that, okay, let's reduce the time per police station. Per police station. So it becomes easier and more manageable per police station. I'm going to open more police stations up because it should not be more than 500 per police station.
Do they have
so
the
that
money
we
to
have
do
the
that? Do they have the money to do it?
If she hasn't got the money, she wouldn't work on that. Thank you. So what you have to do, let us see the positive in it. Let us see how we can all work together to make sure that this becomes a success. Because it's going to be a good story for Ghana. And it's going to be a good story for us. Why is it that some people always have opposition to any good idea that someone is bringing if it's not coming from them? As if they have any good idea they are even bringing. You sit there and you criticize anything the woman wants to do that is positive to the growth and the image of this country. She has sought this thing. She sat down, she's looked at it. She has been at the helm of affairs. She doesn't need to travel to all the 275 districts or their various offices to see how the office looks like, to know what happens at the police station. She has officers, they get reports. That is why they are doing the assembly elections. They do other elections. They get reports every time to know what happens there. And after that, that is where you see that she sits down with her team to draft all these things and bring it out for the public discourse. We are discussing it today. They are picking points. She sent it to other organizations. They are picking points. She has a team of advisors. They are picking points from them. She hasn't gone that, okay, from what do you call it, on the 7th of December 2024, this is what I'm going to do. She has brought something out that, listen, let us all look at this situation, that let us close at 3 o'clock. One, it gives people the sense of time to know that, listen, by 3 o'clock it's closing. I have to go and vote early. When you give people 5 o'clock, someone will get there at 4:45 and will stay in the queue for about an hour or maybe 30 minutes. It carries on till late. There are some places, as you are saying, that, those places they start maybe late. When they start at 12 o'clock, don't they still close at 5? Don't they still close at 5? If they say they've even started voting late, don't they still close at 5? But at least when they give a call to the head office, that listen, and because the materials got there late, and most of the time the materials get there a day before. Most of the time, apart from places that they go through water and everything. These days now, they are even using the helicopters and everything. So it's even become easier for them. And it's part of the charge. That's why they are seeking more money. So it becomes easier for them. So when they start, let's say even 9 o'clock, and they said, okay, add 1 more hour or 2 more hours, it will travel to like 4 o'clock. Because there are particular places that you need to give special dispensation. And it's for her to do that. So let's travel to this time, maybe 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock they finish. Maybe those places, there are no lights.
Let's stick to the 3 p.m. because she says...
I'm coming. Most places, or some places, there might not be lights. So when you close at 5 o'clock, and they put all the sheets together and they are now collating and everything to start the counting, it will take you up to 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, there is dark. They are now going to buy torch lights and fluorescent lights and all these things. It goes and it tells you that anything could happen during that time.
Mr. Alfred Thompson.
She's thought about it.
Mr.
And she said,
You're not fighting anyone.
I'm coming. I'm explaining. And you know that's how I talk.
That's not how you talk.
You know? Oh.
Okay. No, it's okay. So I have this one from Richard Fogo in Damango.
Can I finish my submission?
No, because what you're saying, let's add this bit, then you add it. It says health workers, for example, run 3 shifts. And they are part of essential workers in Ghana.
Okay.
And he says, they are not the only people. We have the military. That day is not a public holiday. So on voting day, those who go to shift in the morning and then round up at 2:30 p.m. will then be rushing and go and vote. When their residence or voting area and their place of work is far apart. Does this proposal not mean that they could have difficulties and so cannot vote?
No, they wouldn't have difficulties. One, all those military personnel, police personnel, they vote sometimes even a week before.
No.
They have the special...
Not every police... No,
I said
he's
all
not
those...
misinforming.
Can I...
You
write it down.
When somebody
write it down.
Stop him.
I write it down. I said
Stop him.
all those military personnel, police personnel, who have special duties on
that's
that
a
day,
different matter.
they vote a week before.
Because I wanted you to acknowledge.
Special duty.
I haven't finished. Then you are jumping in. Why?
Special duty.
Why are you behaving that way? When you people are talking like I'm quiet.
So say it right.
The reason why I allowed it, because even sometimes the media are allowed.
Thank
No,
you.
but he said
Thank you.
all.
I haven't finished. Then you are jumping.
So you
said
corrected
all.
him. So he changed the narrative.
Listen, I said all those. Didn't I use the word
Special.
those?
All those
I used
ones.
the word those.
Those ones.
Okay, please go ahead.
All those police personnel, the military,
Reference
even
to-
media and everything, who vote and who work on that day are given special dispensation a week before.
Not health
to do,
workers.
Oh, I'm coming. To do, what do you call it? Special voting. Now, when even in a line, we are there and people come, for mothers carrying babies, breastfeeding mothers, for old ladies, for special people, like maybe the health worker you are talking about, when they come and they explain that, listen, at the polling station, common sense will just tell you that, oh, let's allow this person who is a health worker to vote early and go. And it's allowed. There's nowhere that someone will come and tell you that, no, we won't allow you to vote. Common sense will tell you. So where is the mistake that Jane Mensah has brought out? That, listen, let us do it early and close early. Unless maybe NDC wants to tell me that they have a nocturnal thing that they do at 6 o'clock. So, chin, let us finish by 5 and start counting at 6.
What has the
Maybe they
NDC
have
got to do with
Maybe they
this?
have their nocturnal thing. That's why they are opposing it.
They
But
caused the
this is-
shooting in
This is a
Techiman.
brilliant idea that everybody, any right-thinking Ghanaian will say that, listen, let's go for this, because this would, in fact, erase all this late-night counting and everything. This late-night collation that will bring boxes, or you can carry boxes and you say that, oh, this box has been turned here or it's been passed here, or all those things. So let us look at it let us look at the message in the right perspective and rethink and ask ourselves that 3 o'clock won't it help all of us? Because I keep on asking a simple question. Even if you give them 7 o'clock, people will come late. Even if you give 2
Mr. Maliba.
o'clock, people will come
Mr.
late.
Maliba.
Yes.
So apart from that, for example, I know people who live around the Misiga border, or they work around the Misiga. They have their farm areas. They have to trek back into Boko, etc. And that's where the voting center is. And if you go to many areas across the country, so the intent of what the Constitution does indicate is that you don't create a situation where people will have to make that decision to be excluded. Because somebody can easily say that, after all, if I know that I can't make it in time at 3 p.m., I better maybe forget it. Others will vote.
You see,
So then you create a lack of access.
you are dealing with a country where, apart from the voting day not being a holiday, you're also dealing with a country where elections are not compulsory. You know, there are countries where it's compulsory. So if you make it difficult, this Misiga border health worker or Misiga border security man, who he's saying that he'll be allowed to vote early when his duties are at the border and not engage in election matters. Those who are allowed to vote early are those who are engaged in election matters and not those who are engaged in their formal places of work. A soldier man who is not part of the security on that day will not be allowed to vote early. So the point is this: when we are talking, it's not as if we are against Jane Mensah. Look, today, if a certain topic had come, I would have supported her.
Like what?
The one that she said scanned pink sheets will be displayed. Perfect. I, Amalba, sitting here today, would have given her thumbs up this morning. So you see that if things are good, we all know it. We all have a sense of fairness. We all have a sense of what is good and what is bad. God has given us that sense. So immediately something is bad, it will trigger in your head. So it has nothing to do with NDC
He learned
MPP.
from you.
It has nothing to do with the NDC MPP. So he should stop that type of talks. Because we all want the good of this country. If the EC brings up a proposal which is good, we all agree. It doesn't lie in the mouth of the EC to think that because of his administrative convenience, because she wants to go home and sleep early in her house, we should close at 3.
What?
She doesn't need your permission.
You get the point? Now, he just spoke about flying helicopters with materials. If you can provide a helicopter to fly materials, can't you provide lies? Which of the two is economically challenging, a helicopter or lights at the place to do the counting. So that mischief should stop. That torchlight, we have to go and buy torchlight. You don't go and buy torchlight. The EC must provide a budget that will deal with lightning. Because if the country can provide a helicopter, a country that can provide a helicopter, that country should be able to provide light on that day. So we are not against EC. We are against policies that will disenfranchise people. One person who is eligible to vote and is denied a vote is wrong. That's what I want to tell you. One person is wrong. And so if you put impediments on the way of that person, and the Texan said it, people go on shift, they close at 2. Voting center is far away. How does he get there and vote? And yet this person is dying to cast his vote. So the Jemensa should exercise his power slowly. Somebody talked about consultation, and he said that is why we are doing it. This is not. We are not talking about. Here is consultation.
I say it's part of it.
This is not part of it.
It's part of it.
We are critiquing. Now, consultation is when you call people, stakeholders, and you move all over the country, and you put the ideas out.
Like the one that should have been done before E-levy.
Exactly. I wanted to use the E-levy and say that even though it was wrongly done, nonetheless it was done.
Mischief detected.
Even though it was wrongly done, because that one, the E-levy went before they started the consultation. But at least they know what consultation is. These people, they know it. But they don't know how to start it. They don't know whether it is before, after, middle, or that kind of thing. So if you want to engage in such a change, drastic change, he's saying it's a drastic change, then you need to have consultation with stakeholders. And EC is not doing that. They only come, Ghana card, bang, we'll do it. This will do it. We have a right to do it. We'll do it. Are you ruling animals? Is it animals which are going to go to vote?
What is the concern about how the EC tend to make its announcement? If there is the concern that it is devoid of wide consultation of stakeholders, or what will be the repercussion of such announcement if it is devoid of wide consultation of stakeholders?
Well, it's still a proposal, isn't it? But remember, the economy we find ourselves in is going to determine the quantum of people who are going to vote this year.
Explain.
Is the economy going right? Is the economy in tatters? And if people feel that we need to go and vote and make our objections known, we're going to have quite a number of people voting. This election is not going to be like any other election because people are angry, people are dissatisfied, people are not happy. Well, if some people are satisfied.
What has that got to do with closing at 3 p.m.?
Thank you.
What is that?
Numbers.
The numbers. The numbers of people.
Numbers.
The numbers of people. And I'm asking the question, why does the Electoral Commission want to limit the number of people at polling station? Why? Because of what? What is the reason? Wait. Is it because of lighting? Is it because of lighting that she wants to bring it to 3 p.m.? And as I said, you're trying it out. It's a proposal. Start it, reduce it by just an hour. Let's use it as a test case. Let's see how that pans out. You cannot use the district elections as an example.
Because the turnout is always low.
It's always low. You cannot use that. And you cannot say that the last 2 previous elections, we've closed our distance, not a lot of people. So because of that, you want to reduce it. I don't think
in some areas.
I don't think it's data enough. If you want data enough, start reducing it gradually. And let's all see. Maybe, yes, it's a good thing. But maybe there would be challenges going forward. We don't want a situation where you've reduced it at 3 p.m. and because you've reduced it at 3 p.m., some people are disenfranchised and it's causing mayhem. We don't want that. I would rather leave it at 5 p.m. than reduce it to 3 p.m.
To come out out with modalities.
What? I don't need to ask them to come out with modalities. They are suggesting it,
So
and we are.
suggestion
But that
tells
is
you
what.
modalities.
But that is
Don't
what we are.
criticize
That's
and
who
condemn
said.
it
Who
and-
said?
Please,
Oh,
please
no.
go ahead.
Destroy
Go ahead.
it.
When
Go
you were
ahead.
talking, I
Go
kept
ahead.
quiet.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I
Mr.
kept quiet.
Thompson,
You
Mr.
said
Thompson.
you are talking, so I should keep
Mr.
quiet.
Thompson.
So you two
Mr.
keep
Thompson,
quiet.
Please,
You
your
two keep
strategy
quiet.
of always disrupting the last couple of
As long as
times
it's
you are
strategy,
here.
don't do that.
Please don't
Don't
do
go
that.
there.
Please don't do that.
Don't go
Please
there.
go ahead. Conclude for me.
Stakeholder.
He has even taken your
Yes,
thoughts out.
stakeholder.
That's the strategy.
Stakeholder consultation is key. Stakeholder consultation is key. First, IPAC. Even bring the media in. Let's all sit around the table and see whether that proposal will work. Bring academia in. Bring CSOs in. Let's discuss it. In fact, this particular proposal should have started after the last election, 2020, early, 3 years ago, so that we would be able to ascertain whether it work or it won't work. At the 99th minute, you're now bringing it in, and people feel that it might work, it might not work, and you're saying we are criticizing.
You say we don't like
It will
You
go.
can
It will.
criticize,
It
but don't
will.
condemn
It will go to. It will go to
It's someone's
Parliament,
good
won't
idea.
it? It will go to Parliament, isn't it?
Yeah, but if it's in a CI, usually, like they'll say, that, you know,
Once it's passed, yeah.
because it's an
Once
independent
it
body, a
passes,
constitutional instrument is coming from.
How do you know it will pass?
Once it's in the CI,
Is every
it's
C?
embodied.
Wait. Has every CI gone to Parliament that's been passed?
Well, the last one was withdrawn again. It's unless they make a lot of noise. So if
You
the
see,
pressure is not
I keep
excessive,
saying,
it means that.
I keep saying, Electoral Commissioner, Madam Jean Mensah, my good friend, be a mother to Ghanaians. I keep saying, be a mother to Ghanaians. You feel you want to propose something, sit with the required stakeholders. Look, guys, this is what I'm proposing because of A, B, C, D, E. What do you think? Get all that information before you now look at the information you've got and put it in a CI and take it to Parliament. It makes your argument stronger when it gets to Parliament, if you are called to defend it. But you just don't blanketly come and say, this is what we are proposing. We're going to put it in a CI. Is it you alone who's going to vote? Is it the Ghanaians who are going to vote? Ghanaians are going to vote.
But if an argument has been made that if you look at some of the centers or most of the centers, we have voting ending 1, 2. And so the last 1 hour, 2, 3 hours, as we have experienced the last 2 elections, people become idle. Can't that be used as a conclusion that we only have some extreme areas where people will just come 4, 5 p.m.?
Are all elections the same?
Is that not why the AC is saying
said
that I want to reduce the numbers on the registers and the police?
When it so happens that untoward things happen in different polling stations, that they can't close at 3 p.m., what happens? It should be uniform, shouldn't it? At 3 p.m., doors all locked. What if people come a minute after 3 p.m. and want to vote? Do you stop them?
If you're in the line...
We shouldn't do anything to disenfranchise anybody from voting.
That's
period.
your argument?
Yes, we shouldn't.
Okay. How should the EC go on from there, if this is the consensus or the opinion generally here?
One, they've thrown this out. Definitely, there are going to be stakeholder meetings on it, especially with IPAC. 2, they should come out and let Ghanaians know the modalities in which they are going to organize this, so that they will not disenfranchise any Ghanaian anywhere. And that the 3 o'clock, they are going to do proper education for people to know about this and come out early to come and vote. When you give people 20 hours, there are some people who will always be the latecomers. So whatever time you give them, they will still come late. People always ask permission from their jobs to come and vote. It will always happen. When people know that they are going to close at 3, and even they are angry, they will tell their people that, hey, go and vote fast before they close the polls.
That's your opinion.
I'm telling you, that's what happens. Okay. That I know, anyway. When you want people to go and vote from your organization, you push them. Most of the time, I mean, the last elections that we had, I was even asking people that, hey, won't you go out and vote? Hurry up, go and vote. Don't wait till 5 p.m. Don't wait till the last minute before you go out.
So the responsibility then is on you, the political stakeholders. Okay.
Everybody. Ask your brother, ask your sister, call your mother, call your father. Ask them, why haven't they gone out to vote? It's our responsibility, everybody's. It's a collective thing. As much as EC will be doing their work, it's the onus is on all of us to work together for people to go out and vote. EC should just come out with their modalities. Let us know and assure Ghanaians that nobody is going to be disenfranchised. And that materials voting is going to start early. Materials are going to get on point. And that nobody is going to start late because maybe of a biometric thing. Now, if there's maybe 1 hour late start, that will be put in so people will not be disenfranchised. But that's reducing it to 500 per polling station and increasing the polling stations is a brilliant idea, and I think I give her thumbs up for it because she's thinking outside the box and she's looking at the welfare of people who will go and stand there for long hours. It used to be 1,800 for certain polling stations. It used to be, over 1,000 plus.
And now it's
that people,
under 1,000.
and she's brought it under 500 or 500 and below. Brilliant idea. Why wouldn't we all support such a cause and ask her for more and better particulars? I think that is the best way to go than demonizing everything that is done, maybe because we want to work in the nocturnal side. Some of us don't want to work nocturnal.
Want to close early.
Let me tell you something. If the EC start the polls and she wants to go and rest, she can go and rest and come. She doesn't need permission from Maleba to go and do that.
All right.
It is.
Well,
It
you
is.
see, if it's not broken, you don't fix it. Let Jim Mensah tell us how much of closing at 5 contributes to unfair elections. Should I repeat that? What she should be fixing, what has broken, is her announcement of elections 15 times.
You are exaggerating. It was
I'm
3
exaggerating, but
times.
Ghanaians know what I'm talking about. It has never happened. That is what has broken.
You mean first one, second one, third one?
In fact, the one who went to court was 6 times. So that is what needs fixing, Jim Mensah. How are you going to ensure that this time you announce the elections once? Because this country could have blown up in flames with the way the results were transmogrifying, changing. Like
So start early.
what changes?
Close
The what
early.
animal? Chameleon.
Start early, close
So
early.
sometimes when
The results were changed like chameleon.
yes, like the chameleon changes. When the EC,
Asked you to add more.
when Jim Mensah proposes this type of ideas, which brings about confusion in people's minds, I stop to wonder whether Jim Mensah has a tunnel from her house that crosses to the border.
Why are you going to kill it?
Because some of the things he proposed, if it were in some other countries, those countries would have been up in flames.
Maleba, stop this.
You get my point?
Our friend says don't be exaggerating.
So I think that she should take it slowly. She will do her work and go. Ghana will still remain. But trying to disenfranchise people in this election, he has told you every 8 years what happens. There's a surge towards the election because people want to speak a certain language. And so you cannot use administrative procedures because you are tired. It's just like a teacher saying that the scripts are so many. So instead of answering 5 questions, answer 1 question. Lazy administrator. Lazy. So because of that, you use administrative procedures to get the right to vote. On this table, I've told you that God has not created anybody for another person to rule him. So we, as a social contract, have all come together to say that you, Mr. A, you be ruling us whilst the rest of us can go about doing our work. So that right to choose who will rule us should not be taken lightly for an administrative body like the EC to decide that, for some people who go to farm, for them, we don't care about them. For policemen or soldiers who go on shift at 2 and close at 2, who cares about... Jim Mensah, you have no right to do that.
Madam Jim Mensah.
Doesn't matter.
Madam James.
I took Kwame Nyankee. No, I'll let you. Let me just take some views from her before we move on to the next. I took Kwame Nyankee says, does Mr. Alfred Thompson have any idea how materials get to some places in this country which are remote away from Cape Coast, where he hails and wanted to become member of parliament. Maybe he needs to consider some of these factors before agreeing to some of these holistic or wholesome proposals. Is Madam Jim Mensah aware that the number of voters for 2024 has increased?
Okay.
Prince Anane giving us this as well.
People don't read
And then
listen.
Emmanuel Odro says, Amaleba, the EC have always allowed policemen, military men, health professionals, teachers, I don't know about teachers though, journalists I know,
Teachers who go and do their
to bring their staff ID for easy and quick voting. So please, stop the mischief and always opposing good policies. Those teachers and others are officers
lie.
of the Electoral Commission.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
They are interim officers.
Yes,
of
they are
the
not.
Electoral Commission. They are not teachers.
You-
They are
so a
still-
teacher will
Okay.
bring, a teacher will bring and then jump the queue.
Samson says it
What is
looks
going on,
like
Emeka?
it looks like Mr. Thompson is the current PRO of the Electoral Commission. Electoral Commission.
I'll respond to some of these. I mean, it's just
Now,
Roland's mischief.
Shari Kim says, common sense is what the EC. Okay, I don't like the words. I won't read this.
It's lack.
It's a wanted
It's
to say
lack.
lack.
I think it's lack.
It's not like
Okay,
lack.
more polling station means more polling agents to cover. Will the EC support parties? That's Catherine raising this concern, but for their stakeholders. Now, what did you want to say, Mr. to conclude on this subject?
Alfred indicated that we should work together.
Yes, communal spirit.
Is she working together with us?
yes.
Is she working together with us?
But you mean to make announcement nicely.
She should have done it before.
You mean
She
consult
should
before?
consult before, do all that before. But most important to me also, at the end of her statement, she said, and let me quote, she reiterated that the EC remains firm in its stance on the matter of using the Ghana card as the sole material for identification. That one, she's not moving on it. And go and read what the majority leader has said with regards to this particular issue. I will read it for you. Don't worry. He says, voter registration exercise. Restricting document to Ghana card will be problematic. Majority leader to EC.
Yeah.
Huh? The Electoral Commission's insistence on using the Ghana card as the sole document to authenticate registrants' residence nationality for the voter registration has faced many oppositions, latest among them coming from the majority leader in
Osei
parliament.
Mensah Bonsu.
Yes,
He said this.
Osei Mensah Bonsu has asserted that the Commission's own admission, please, the Commission's own admission to the non-availability of the Ghana card to all eligible citizens make it troubling in settling on it as the sole ID for the voter registration exercise.
All right.
We should go there again. We should watch that again. That is the sort of
That's
thing
the year we'll come to
she
Parliament.
should be talking about.
Okay.
Because she's still insistent.
This one is coming from Maxwell Akpabli, who says, this is the plan of Jean Mensah, forcing the closing of polls at 3 p.m. And then on election day, they will send faulty biometric verification devices to strongholds and send the good ones to MPP strongholds. Then when it's time for voting, people in opposition and NDC strongholds will get frustrated while the people in MPP strongholds will vote smoothly. Maxwell Akpabli in there. Now I have this one from Kwesi Mensah. Kwesi Mensah is watching us from the US, regular on our stream. Said Jim Mensah failed to talk about the problems that she has always encountered and that have occurred, such as faulty electoral machines, electoral materials not reaching voting centers early, networking challenges that confront machines, and now she's talking about closing early. Who will address all the problems that she needs to be addressing? And this one also is coming from Sonny. Sonny says, EC is reducing the number of officials from 5 to 3 in the assembly elections. What is the EC about to do about that? The earlier they block this 3 this 3 p.m. idea, the better. Stakes are high, and they shouldn't create more tension. La ilaha illallah. Now, why did you decide to return to IPAC? Just a comment.
No, there has
Because
always
we've been telling NDC, go back that you don't come in.
Yeah, we said that if IPAC remains the same, where Jim Mensah just trusts information on us and doesn't allow for discussions, we will not go back.
What has changed?
So the Peace Council has always been in the business of brokering the peace between we and the Electoral Commission. So, this was announced at, I think, Ebrien, where the Peace Council, brought all stakeholders together. And I think that the Peace Council has finally brokered the peace. And so that's how we are going. There was an intervention from the Peace Council. And you heard Jim Mensah herself say that she misses the NDC because we are one of the biggest parties in the country. And if we are out, there will be a void. You'll feel it in the room. So she said that they miss the EC and that we bring to the table rich ideas. So they themselves, the Electoral Commission, felt our absence. And so thanks to the Peace Council, the Peace Council started this thing last year, and it took so long before we could reach this point. And so it is through the intervention of the Peace Council that this has happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's good, Mr. Jantwa.
They shouldn't have left in the first place.
Thank you.
They are the biggest opposition party.
Thank you.
You stay in it, good or bad, stay in it. They shouldn't have left. So if they've gone back, that is fine. And please, don't now go back and then decide to leave if the Electoral Commission does something you do not. Sit there and slug it out with them. They are the largest opposition party. So it's a good thing they are back. But I don't think whether they should be congratulated because they should have stayed.
They should have stayed.
Yes.
What's your comment on NDC being back?
My comment is that they were behaving like babies. And now if they've now seen the light and they've seen that they have to be there to be part of the transformation that they want to see in EC, thank God. Because I didn't see in the first instance why they needed to even go out and then go and write a paper that EC should abide by their destiny. They are not the only political party in Ghana. That is the first thing you should know. They are not the only political party in Ghana. And they are not bequeathed with so much wisdom that they alone, they should write a paper and their paper should be taken. We go there, we discuss. We jaw, and we come out with a decision, and a firm decision to drive this country forward. So if now they've seen that, listen, with or without them, IPAC will still go on. With or without them, Madam Jane Mensah will take her decisions to make sure that everything she has to do right for this country, she will do. They've now seen that they have to come back. So be it. And we thank God. But whatever Madam Jane Mensah has to do to make sure that the electoral process is free and fair and transparent and would help building the image of this country, I implore her to do it. It should help us. And one day she'll be remembered for it. Maybe today they'll fight her, but tomorrow they'll tell you that, oh, what she did was good. Remember we started with the opaque. Then it came to the transparent. Then we started with a card that you didn't have your picture on and everything. Now we brought the picture, it was black and white, now it became colored. Every time, every new election, we bring something new on board. And she is going to bring things that will help us improve upon the image of the Electoral Commission and of Ghana. Because we need to create a different scenario. We need to create a different country. We need to be unique in everything we are doing. And I pray for her success in whatever she's doing. But the education and the free, fair, and transparency should be there for her. Thank you.
Ruru,
Ibrahim Mumuni says,
just a quick one.
Hey, Alfred Thompson.
Ruru, just a quick one.
ECPRO.
I'm not PRO, I speak the truth.
Akosia Opoku Ajimai says,
Which we go and again.
these MPP members and the associates behave as if they are the only ones who can think for the entire nation. Ghana is not only Accra and Kumasi. What did you want to say?
Ruru, the challenges with elections is really not the voting process. The challenges with the elections is when it comes to the coalition and the counting. That's where the
shooting, etc.
That is where the problems are.
She wants to close early.
So
That is where the problems
Alfred is
are.
saying that. Alfred is saying that if closing early comes, we have daylight. Shooting will not happen.
How long did it take them
The
to
people
declare?
they shot
How long? How
Sir,
long did
was
wait,
not in
how
the
long-
night.
How long?
No,
how,
not in the night. Let's stop lying.
Were you there?
Please.
Daytime.
Were you there?
We conducted the
Abi,
case.
Abi, let me finish.
That's the strategy. Please go ahead. You see, they've distorted your thoughts.
It distorted my thoughts.
So let me.
What?
You get that.
Wait, don't tell me to relax. Don't tell
let
me to
him make
relax.
his point.
When you were talking, I was
Yes,
quiet.
Money need money.
Stop it.
Money need money. Please. Money need money says they are doing all this because they want to break the 8. Evans Blaze says you give people positions and they want to act like they are tingos, Alpha and Omega. What did you want to say?
It is the counting. How many times did she announce the results? How many
Some
times?
came in late.
How many times?
You mean the presidential election?
Yes. How many times?
Me, I think I tracked 3 times.
But
It's a 6 times.
No, it's
that
not
is
6
where
times.
the
It's never 6
problem
times.
is.
It's never
If
6
there's
times.
any challenge, if Jimensa wants to change things, she should look at coalition and counting and announcement of figures.
All right.
That's where the
Talk
problem is,
about-
not the voting.
About the what do you call it? The
Issa Haku.
materials, about the materials getting there.
Kwesi Mensah.
I spoke about it,
Yeah.
and I told them that listen.
Issa
there are
Haku
various
says
ways
that
of saying
the
it.
EC chairperson's proposal to end the proposal. I think I've read this one. Okay, so let me just start from the
Let me just say my
beginning.
thing.
No, don't say it. 7 December is Saturday. Please, during the party elections, what time did they normally close? Their own political parties, so 3 p.m. for that
The
matter.
number is small.
It is a good way to go, Roland. You and other 2 panelists should stop the propaganda. Thank you very much. You didn't add your name. Let me see whether I can
Two
get.
other panelists.
He said 2 other panelists.
Okay.
You wanted him to add me.
He said
I'm
you were the two
moderator.
other panelists. He said you
Ah,
were the
okay.
two other-
Oh, say, okay.
Isn't that what he said?
Okay, let me just
I
get
thought
his
I
name.
saw-
Let me
I
get
saw
his name.
that.
What's the
Don't worry.
propaganda?
Let me get
We're
his name.
expressing our views on the subject. It's not propaganda.
Okay, give it to him.
Please.
Good morning, Roland. For NDC and JDM, the Ghanaians will vote for them, but how to protect the vote for Jimensa, not to declare otherwise, is the problem.
Okay.
This is what you say, and Amaliba smiles.
That is
Evans
true. It's not
Dinko
true. Who
Garu,
vote for
the
them?
NI has so
If
far
you were in
registered
opposition
only
and we are in
7,000,
government with this kind of
70,000
economy,
out of
What do you think?
no 17,000, 17 million, 17 million.
The one who took part in bringing us to where we are.
Faustina Emisa says
I'm not a magician.
the
to
EC
do
chair is
this.
always bent on frustrating
And yet,
us, the
you give people
voters.
job. Your
This
job-
3
your job
3 p.m. agenda
rating
won't
is
work.
poor.
Go and see.
Your job rating is poor.
Jerry
Your
Amejiro,
poor
North
now.
Tongue.
Oh,
Any
well,
decision from
everybody-
Jim Mensah is like the scripture to the likes of Mr. Alfred Thompson. They take it hook, line, and sinker. Have you seen them disagreeing with the EC in any decision before? They alone know what they will benefit from those decisions, Jerry says.
Tell Jerry to relax.
Jerry Amejiro, North Tongue. Alfred Thompson says relax.
Relax.
Okay, now